Welcome. Good afternoon, and welcome to our annual Believing in Girls Luncheon. I am Leslie, and I am a PACE girl. Today we have over 30 current or former PACE girls here. We are grateful that you took the time out of your busy day to get out and get to know us. On each table there is a jar full of questions. We hope these questions will guide your conversations and help everyone get to know each other. Would everyone please stand as J. Cole, one of our PACE girls, sings the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, once so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free and the home of the brave?
I told many of you my gift before was that I didn't sing, so if you don't quiet down, then I'll have to sing. And I am very gifted, aren't I, PACE girls? I have a gifted voice. Can everyone hear me in the back? So we have a thing at PACE we do. Clap if you can hear me. All right, I see some clapping in the back. Good afternoon. For those of you who do not know me, I am Amy Wick-Mavis, and I am the Executive Director at PACE Center for Girls. For the past 22 years, I have had the honor of working with PACE girls. Often I think, after 22 years, are there any more lessons for me to learn? And then something happens, and I am once again humbled by the strength and resiliency of our PACE girls. Recently, our community was challenged with Hurricane Irma. We were powerless over our circumstances. No matter what we did or what decisions we made, we could not control our limited resources. Our resolve, that was positive and hopeful on day one with our first obstacle, was much less so as the days and problems mounted. We saw the best and the worst in people. This experience gave me pause. As our community struggled to respond to this crisis, I thought of our PACE girls. They, you, are my role model during challenging times. Because you see, PACE girls conquer mountains every single day. They are used to things being out of their control and not going their way. As teenagers, they are learning to start again and develop new coping strategies and survive. PACE girls have taught me lessons on persistence that are unparalleled. Most PACE girls are at least 2 years behind in school. The enormity of that mountain climb cannot be understated. Dropping out of school is a very real option. In fact, we know that 90% of children who are 2 years behind in school do drop out. Yet, each PACE girl makes the voluntary decision to come to PACE and chip away at that mountain. That may mean taking 2 to 3 buses to and from school every day. It certainly means acknowledging the learning gaps and the additional steps needed to even begin to get back on track. Class by class, day by day, credit by credit, our PACE girls persist in their schoolwork in spite of the obstacles in front of them. I have watched girls face challenges that would leave most adults I know shattered. The realities of violence and sexual exploitation exist within our community. Who of us would want to be growing up in this age of the internet and social media? The Girls Index just published startling data. By 6th grade, 30% of girls will be asked for a naked picture of themselves. And that number increases to 75% by 12th grade. 1 in 3 girls is afraid to be a leader in fear of being labeled bossy. And in this day, when #MeToo floods our news feed, we know that our job of protecting our daughters is bigger than ever. Fear will not leave our girls silent, invisible to the world. At PACE, we want each girl to find a safe and loving environment where she can heal and grow, empowering her to use her voice, speak her truth, and change the course of her story. Today, we have over 30 current and former PACE girls here to share their stories with you, eager for you to know who PACE girls really are. Our PACE girls know that hope is not pixie dust, and a program for girls doesn't mean we paint our walls pink. Our girls put their hope in PACE, that we will see their behavior as a direct response to life's circumstances, that we understand that yelling and screaming is a cry to really hear what they are saying, that being absent from school doesn't mean they are lazy or do not care. Often it means that they have more important family responsibilities or are too anxious or depressed to face the day. Hope that PACE will believe in each one of them until they are fully ready to believe in themselves. When I first started at PACE, I asked a colleague what she did, and she told me, "I change lives." I have kept that statement in my heart all these years. But to the PACE girls, I want you to know this: you have changed my life. Today, I hope you see how extraordinary our PACE girls are, how they value PACE, not as a guarantee for a better future, but as an opportunity for them to change the trajectory of their lives. Think for a moment about that girl you hold deep in your heart, her dreams, your hope for her future. Doesn't every girl deserve a chance for happiness and the best possible future? PACE believes so. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can everyone hear me? I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Danielle Alec, and I am not a professional speaker. I am a parent of a PACE girl. She's a current student, and she will be addressing you this afternoon, so you'll get to hear a little bit of her story from her own perspective. So I just wanted to present a little bit of mine. So first I want to say thank you for giving me a few moments of your time. And I wanted to say that when Briar and I are invited to speak at an event like this, we take a few moments to discuss what each of us wants to say, because it's our story. Has anyone here ever heard of Akira Kurosawa's In the Grove? Probably not. It's kind of obscure. If you haven't, I do recommend the subtitled version, because the dubbed version is really, really terrible. Trust me on that. But it's about a crime, and about how all these people are called in to testify about what they saw and what they experienced. And the way each one tells their story, it is similar, but there are differences based on where each of them are standing. We each have our own narration that we bring to our story. And like all stories, time, distance, and life experience can alter how we remember a time in our lives. Time gives us comfort from pain, and distance gives us an altering perspective and the chance to move away from our traumas and fill the intervening spaces with a new experience. So get ready, Briar, because Mama has the microphone now. When she was a baby and her first teeth came in, she had that gap between the two front teeth, and you could park a Mack truck in it. And when she smiled, oh, that little gap was just the most amazing and adorable thing you ever saw in your life. It was right up there with that baby laugh. You know that baby laugh where they laugh from their belly? And if you don't laugh with them, then you are less than human, honestly. You're not fully. And when she was a baby, she had allergies. I mean the kind that has you up all night because her belly hurts, and then there are the tests, and then there are the results, and then we knew. She had to stay away from everything except rice, fruit, and eggs. Seriously, it was easier to list the things that she could eat than to try to list the things that she could not. And never once did I feel as though we were missing out on something. I always thought it could be worse. There are parents out there in this world who would trade my child's food allergies for their child's cancer or muscular dystrophy or any of the other horrifying illnesses that are out there in this world for one day with the problems that my child faced. And I knew I was blessed, and she was my everything. Sweet, loving, precocious, and smart. She'd make Einstein work for his diploma, and she wouldn't break a sweat doing it. And she didn't realize how crazy, scary, smart that she was, because that's just the way she was. And then one day I blinked and she was in kindergarten, and she devoured books as if they were air to her. And she learned math, and she learned science, and everything was why? Well, why? Why? And then one day, she stopped. And she stopped caring about learning, and she stopped caring about eating, and she stopped caring about anything and everything, and she was so very unhappy. And I didn't know what was wrong. And there were no rashes, and there were no marks, and there's no headache, there's no upset stomach, there's just nothing. And unless your child can tell you what's wrong, in the absence of any physical issue, you don't know what to do. And so you love the child the best that you can, and you keep those lines of communication open, and you pray a lot. And then one day your child tries to kill herself. and you find out that there has been a secret in her life, one she couldn't tell anyone, because a monster with a human face had been killing her spirit and made her promise to never tell a soul or he would do something terrible. And to the smart and precocious child who had already had terrible things happen to her, that something terrible would have to be beyond terrible, beyond imagination. And so I didn't know what to do, didn't know where to go. I only knew this one thing. I had to protect my child. And so I put her into therapy, lots and lots of therapy. And I put her into Just for Girls. Shout out to my Just for Girls, D. Ralph and Becky Kness. And when she was ready for high school, I completely freaked out because I didn't want her in a public school. Public schools are great for other children, but not for mine. And I was not ready to let her out into this wide world with her shaky skill set and a monster still on the loose inside her heart and inside her mind. I needed someplace safe. I needed someplace she could go that would know how to work with her and protect her and keep her safe until she could stand on her own. I needed this as much as she needed this, because I felt that I had not protected her enough when she was little. And so I had to work twice as hard to protect her now that she was older. What I didn't count on when I brought her to PACE was how much the staff would protect me, how in giving her a safe place to relearn her love for academics and giving her a space to move away from childhood into young adulthood, that they would give me the time that I needed to move away from her so that she could stand on her own, so that she could engage in life again. And life is like that. If we are really, really lucky, life gives us second chances. We get to make mistakes, we get to experience heartbreak, and we get to find out that there is no rule or law anywhere that says that we have to be treated fairly or that we will be perceived as humans with inviolable human dignities. And more often than not, it is the young women of this marvelous, wonderful, fabulous, irreplaceable world that learn at an early age that there is no free or fair thing about the lives that they will have to live. Each young lady who attends PACE is a unique individual who has a unique set of circumstances that are the individual traumas that they carry. Not all have the benefit of a home or of a home support system that cares or can provide the security of shelter or food. There are girls at PACE today who go home to a household that is short on money, short on food, short on patience, and often short on basic coping skills. These young women are the demographic who will be raising the next generation of children, and their influence will be the primary deciding factor in how a generation will be capable of caring for itself and for the society that we all must live in. And there is very little that these young women can do to change the circumstances from which they have arrived at PACE. But with the help of the staff, those at PACE, the teachers, the administrators, everyone that they come into contact with every day, and you, the sponsors, they can be provided the tools they need to change the circumstances under which they will live into their adulthood. PACE has offered more than just peace of mind. They offer hope. So to the staff and the teachers at PACE, I say thank you. And to you, the sponsors, I say thank you. Having a place to go like PACE has made all the difference in the world to more than just my one human. It means the world of difference to every one of the young women who enter their doors. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I got to tell you, I'm not used to using a microphone, so we'll work with it. My name is David Gadewaltz. The girls would know to me as Mr. Allen. When I usually meet them for the first time, I say to them, "Hi, I'm Mr. Allen. I'm going to be the easy teacher to remember because I'm the only guy in the building." I'm also the math department. Somebody asked me once, which subject do you feel most difficult to teach, and what's the most difficult thing about teaching math at Pace? Is it the sixth grade math, the algebra, the geometry? And the answer to that is beating the brainwashing of the girls believing that they cannot do math. All right, that is the first thing that I have to overcome with them. Once we do that, they start to understand math and they start moving on, and I'm just happy to work with them. I've been with PACE for 14 years, and one of the best things I love about PACE is being able to develop the relationships that we can with the young ladies. I've had several wonderful experiences doing that. There's one young lady here that I remember when she first started with PACE, she really had a hard time just walking in the door at the first part of the day. And over time, just because we were able to work with her, by the end, she was like one of the greatest leaders that we had in the entire building. She led not only my school store, she actually led the whole student council with our school. And eventually, I remember taking her to Busch Gardens from the school store proceeds, and she's like grabbing everybody, going, "Let's go to this roller coaster!" And I'm going, and this is the one that couldn't get out of the car. But speaking of other students, one of the students I'd like to introduce to you today is Briar. Now, every once in a while, I match up with a student that really clicks with me. And Briar is one of those students. And I remember the one day that she came into my classroom and she says, "Mr. Allen, I'm just really not sure I'm going to fit in here." And I took a good look at her and I stared her down and I says, "Well, speaking from experience, I got news for you. You're a nerd. You're not going to fit in anywhere." And that's from experience because I am the king of the nerds, so I know. But I said, here's the thing. Once you embrace that and believe that you do not need to fit in anywhere and that you can accept yourself for who you are, that will be the release for you. That will be when you will be able to discover who you truly are. And so after that, this person who didn't like going to places, didn't like doing things and all that, decided to join the medieval fair. So I enjoy driving her back, going back and forth with her to medieval fair practice. And I'll tell you, for me, having a crowd like this, I usually have a sword in my hand. But without further ado, I would love to introduce you to Briar. Come on up.
Just give me 1 second, please. Before I start, hi, I'm Briar. I want to thank everyone for coming here to this luncheon with us. It means so much to PACE, and it means even more to us PACE girls, seeing that people care. I also wanted to thank my mom for coming here with me to all the speeches I do. It means so much to me that you stick around for me. So I arrived at PACE 2 weeks after I completed middle school. I was still driving on my road to recovery from bad decisions I had made with myself. I was like a melted candle. I was burned out and tired. To be frank, I didn't want to meet anyone new, and I didn't want anyone to talk to me. I just wanted to do my work and take my leave. I did just that for a while, probably 2 or 3 months. As you all know, PACE is mostly known, let me backtrack. I skipped a sentence. I'm sorry. I realized at that point that PACE was different. The staff, the classrooms, the energy of the building, it was unlike anything I was used to. As you all know, PACE is mostly known for its academics. As you can tell from the name, students get to work at their own pace. What that really means is that you can drill through work like it's nothing and crank out your credits like it's nobody's business. An attribute that goes well with this quality is the class sizes. The classes house at the most 14 kids. This allows for bonds to form with the teachers and the students. If you need help, it's only a hand raise away. Because of this, I managed to finish an entire grade in a very short amount of time. Now everyone will tell you about the academic side of PACE, and everyone knows about it. Although that is a very important part of PACE, I wanted to focus on another quality of PACE, one that I think has made the biggest impact on my long-term self. For years now, I've had strong insecurities with my body. When I first started developing my personal style, I was attracted to dark clothes and piercings. The world becomes an evil place to be in when you start to explore who you really are. I saw how people judged me by something that didn't have to do with who I really was. A common scenario I found myself in for a long time, and I still do, takes place when I'm shopping. I'll see a mother and her young boy. When we make eye contact, I smile and I nod to greet them. In return, the mother will pull her child away from me and look at me with disdain. It's hard to look at myself in the mirror and say, hey, you're a decent human being, when people berated me and treated me like a monster. After a while, you begin to believe in how people treat you. I must have really been a messed up person for people to treat me like that, right? Well, no. PACE didn't do that. PACE didn't care that I have a piercing in my nose, that my hair is cropped short, that all my clothes are black, that I look different. People will argue that these things distract other students. Allow me to say now that I have distracted no one with my look. I've never been in a school where I was treated this kindly and with this much common sense. I'm in an environment where I can express myself. That's something everyone needs to experience. Here at PACE, you have intrinsic value. You are worth something, and they will accept you, no matter what you look like. Staff are sensitive to the needs of the students. If I'm having a bad day when my coping skills are little to none, there are staff members I can go to who will listen and help me find a solution to my problem. Solutions aren't given to us, you see. We provide them to ourselves. At PACE, staff help us bridge this difficult time between childhood and adulthood. This is an especially difficult time for young women. Not all of us have a mother we can go to, and not all of us have an adult we can confide in. PACE provides someone to fill that void. And though they value individuality and self-expression, they encourage team building. They reward group effort through positive interactions between the staff and student bodies. For example, on Fridays, we announce upcoming events and give out prizes like gift cards or candy to those who win them. And remember when I made those comments about how I didn't talk to anyone, I didn't want anyone to talk to me? Well, that's not apparent anymore. I've learned to be more social with my peers and bond with them. We can work together on assignments, we have group discussions, and confide in one another as well. PACE teaches how to have healthy relationships of any kind, and we can apply these learned skills to our lives outside of school. When we get our first job, when we go to interviews, or when we're out shopping and we're at the check line. At PACE, we learn how to act appropriately in these environments. These are skills we will use out in the real world, no matter what age we are. That is so important for young women to learn. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up my speech by once more thanking everyone for being here, whether you were working behind the scenes or out in the open. It means so much to us, it really, really does. Thank you.
Thank you, Briar. I've been a last-minute Lucy my entire life, and Briar is the exact same way, because I've been trying to get her to give me her speech for the past week, and this morning she walked in and said, here it is. So this is what happens, right? Thank you so much. I hope you all have learned a little bit more about why PACE is so important to our community. Our girls know the value of PACE today. They courageously sat with total strangers, labored over table manners and not making mistakes, and bravely shared their stories with you, not because it was easy or necessarily fun. Although I will tell you, without fail, they will come back to PACE every year and argue about who had the best table. They exposed themselves to all of you so that you could understand. Understand that being a teenage girl is not easy. That mistakes can be made and obstacles so big that it seems like there's no hope. PACE provides that hope, and today I am asking each one of you to invest in PACE. In the girls who were here in the past, the girls sitting at your table today, and the girls who will be at PACE in the future. Many years ago, when our funding was in jeopardy, I felt the need to reassure the girls that our program would continue. As I explained the funding issue, the big room fell silent. One girl said, "Don't worry about money, Miss Wick. We can hold a car wash." As the girls became excited about this possibility, I quietly said, "Well, we need about $600,000. The room once again got very quiet, and one girl said, "Woo, that's a lot of cars." Today, our funding is solid, but each year, there continues to be underfunded line items that our girls need your support. This brochure is on your table. It explains how your donation today can help our girls. There is no Manatee County School District bus that pulls up to PACE. Our girls ride public transportation, 2 and 3 buses sometimes to get to school. There's year-round school. The girls always say to me, "Miss Wick, what about my summer vacation?" I say, "Remember those days you skipped school? That was your summer vacation. And do you have photos?" Because we have year-round schooling. Well, what that means is during the summer, there's no public school to provide lunches. They still get hungry during the summer. It costs us about $250 a day to provide lunches for our girls. So when you look at these, you see how your support can help the girls at PACE. Got to get all my props out. At each table is a donation card, and I hope that you will consider making a donation and an investment in PACE today. At each table, there is I call him a point person. Raise your hand if you're a point person at your table. All right. These people would be happy to get your cards, your donation cards, at the end of the luncheon so that you can give an investment today in a PACE girl. As you are filling out these donation forms, I would like to invite Nija with me, and we are going to do the basket drawings while you are filling out your forms. Now, don't get so distracted by the basket drawing that you forget to fill out your form. We don't want any distractions here. So, where's Nija? I know she's dying to help me. Come on, boo-boo. So we're going to go back to the center. We have 2 baskets. Where's Greg Porges? I believe last year, Greg, you gave a little feedback, which was, how come there's a ladies' basket and there's no men's basket? So least you think we do not respond to feedback, there is a men's basket this year. So Nigel's going to come with me, if you can get out your numbers as you're filling out your forms.
Before we wrap up, I want to take a minute to say thank you and introduce myself. I'm Tara Williams Shavers, and I'm the chairman of the board this year. I've been on the board since 2008, and I want to tell you a little bit about my why. So here are my notes. I'm not the planner that Amy always wants me to be. But as I was thinking of how I wanted to thank you for your time and your dedication to this mission that I obviously believe so wholeheartedly in, I thought I would share a little bit about my why. So as I've said, I've been on the board since 2008. I've been in the commercial insurance industry for 17 years in the community. And I attended a church ceremony I think it's probably been 5 or 6 years, and it was about leaving a legacy. And legacy not only monetarily, because obviously I was doing that with work, but a legacy to the next generation. And I quickly realized that I wasn't doing that. So I'll share a little bit about my story. My husband and I just recently became foster parents. I have a 19-month-old at home and a 7-week-old at home. And so I left insurance, and I have a different why. But my why, I understand the need for children, and my motivation came every week being at PACE. I was at PACE, and even through my insurance career, I taught Invest through the high school curriculum. I taught junior achievement, and I knew that kids were my passion, and I never took the career path. I wish I would have. But now is my opportunity, my second chance to live a life of legacy in the next generation through my fostering. But every week that I was at PACE, I saw it. I saw it in the girls, I saw it in our teachers, I saw it in our staff, I saw it in our counselors, our nurses. Those girls are our future. Those girls are our nurses, they are our lawyers, they're our doctors, they're our teachers. But most importantly, these girls are gonna be our mothers in the community. And we at PACE are helping them become the best that they can possibly be. So thank you for your time today. Thank you for your monetary donations. It takes a village to raise these girls, and because of you, we're doing that. The luncheon, however, I have a few names that I'd like to thank you. I have a good friend, Brian, with BDE Florida. He's part of the underwriting for this wonderful lunch. So you got to have a school lunch, just like the girls. So hope you enjoyed that, as well as Jack Kemp from Hardee's. So the two of them came together to make this lunch possible. And the shirts that the girls are wearing, those came from Blake Medical Center. So we love those shirts, and we thank Blake for those shirts that the girls have. And last but not least, Amy mentioned the cookie that's on your table. Those were baked with love by Brittany Hinkle. So make sure that you take those with you. So I will adjourn this luncheon as I would as the board member. You are adjourned, and go and have a blessed day.